Good morning, good afternoon, everyone.
You're muted.
Ooh. Good morning again, good afternoon, everyone, depending on where you are joining from. And a warm welcome to this special virtual panel discussion hosted by the Africa Guide. My name is Awates Peace, and I serve as the Digital Innovation and Immersive Experiences Assistant at the Africa Guide. I am delighted to moderate today's conversation. We are gathered here to explore the digital future of African tourism, innovation, AR, VR, and diaspora engagement. This is a timely and exciting discussion about how technology, storytelling, human connection can reshape the way the world experiences Africa. I am pleased to begin by welcoming our host and a visionary keynote speaker. Please join me in giving a warm welcome to Dr. Vicky Otolaina, a founder and a CEO of the Africa Guide, who will set the tone for today's conversation with her visionary keynote address. Dr. Vicky, the floor is yours. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Abatesi. And good morning, good afternoon, everyone. I know some of you are joining from right here in the Caribbean. And of course, in Africa, you are in the afternoon time. So good afternoon. So before we begin today's conversation, I want to start with the voice of a son of the diaspora, Comte Cullen, one of the greatest poets of the Harlem Renaissance. In his poem, Heritage, he captures the deep and restless longing many people of African descent have carried across generations. What is Africa to me? Copper Sun or Scarlet Sea? Jungle Star or Jungle Track? Strong bronzed men or regal black? Women from whose loins I sprang when the birds of Eden sang? Those words were written nearly a century ago, yet they still echo in the hearts of many across the Caribbean, the Americas, Europe, and beyond. There are millions of us who carry Africa in our blood, our names, our rhythms, our food, our faith expressions, our creativity, and our memory, yet still feel separated by oceans, history, and time. Today, we are here to move beyond that longing. We are here to explore connection. We are here to ask what becomes possible when storytelling, tourism, technology, and a diaspora identity begins to meet in a more intentional way. My name is Dr. Vicky Otarugina, founder and group CEO of the Africa Guide, and I founded the Africa Guide in 2024 because I saw a clear gap between the rich, vibrant, layered Africa that I experienced firsthand and the limited narratives often presented to the world, especially the global African diaspora. Through my travels, my work, and my own Caribbean roots, I became convinced that Africa deserves to be presented with great accuracy or greater accuracy, dignity, and depth. Africa is not one single story. Africa is culture, it's heritage. Africa is innovation. Africa is business and investment. Africa is creativity. Africa is tourism. Africa is people. And Africa is possibilities. The mission of the Africa Guide is simple yet powerful. We want to connect Africa and its global diaspora, primarily or starting with the Caribbean diaspora, through credible storytelling, accurate storytelling, cultural depth, practical destination insight, and transformative engagement so that people can discover, celebrate, and connect. We are still building, but we are steadily building country by country with the long-term goal of helping global audiences engage all 54 nations with greater clarity, confidence, and respect. And this brings us today to today's important conversation, the digital future of African tourism, innovation, AR, VR, and diaspora engagement. We are living in a time when tourism is indeed changing, and I'm sure you can agree with me. People no longer discover destinations only through brochures, travel agents, or physical visits. They discover places through digital platforms, short-form video, virtual previews, online communities, creator content, and increasingly immersive experiences. Digital innovation can help African countries tell richer, more accurate, and more dignified stories. It can help potential travelers build trust before they arrive. A young person in Barbados, maybe Brooklyn in New York, London, Toronto, or even Kingston, Jamaica, may one day be able to encounter African destinations in deeper ways before ever boarding a plane. They may be able to preview a heritage site, engage with cultural stories, or understand a country through guided digital storytelling. It is not because technology replaces travel. It surely does not. But because technology can prepare the heart, inform the mind, build confidence, and deepen the desire for meaningful travel, that's why we are here. So this discussion gives us an opportunity to explore how digital tools might deepen diaspora connection, build greater trust and confidence, support African destinations, create new opportunities for the youth, entrepreneurs, educators, creators, and tourism professionals. And of course, strengthen the bridge between African tourism and the Caribbean diaspora, and by extension, the global diaspora. So at the Africa Guide, we are here to explore possibilities, opportunities, and challenges. We are here to listen to voices from tourism education, destination marketing, entrepreneurship, youth engagement, and digital innovation. At the Africa Guide, we believe tourism should never be separated from culture, history, people, identity, and sustainable opportunity. Our long-term aspiration is to become a trusted diaspora-first platform that helps bridge Africa and its global community. So this panel, guided by our excellent moderator, Abatesi Peace, and featuring our knowledgeable panelists, Mr. Juuko Julius, Mr. Charles Nkaivu, and Ms. Muwanguzi John Mugumba, marks an important step as the Africa Guide grows from where we are today into thought leadership, dialogue, and strategic engagement. Each panelist brings a valuable perspective in tourism education, destination marketing, travel entrepreneurship, youth engagement, and digital innovation. So my question today is, how can African tourism be experienced, shared, and understood in a digital age without losing its depth, dignity, and authenticity? And to you, all of you joining us today, tourism professionals, educators, young leaders, digital creators, entrepreneurs, tour operators, travel guides, students, whoever you are, this is your invitation. Be part of shaping the digital future of African tourism. So share your stories, bring your ideas, even better questions, build stronger bridges, support more dignified storytelling, help us ensure that Africa is not merely seen, but greatly understood. So let us ensure that when the next generation asks, what is Africa to me? The answer will be this: Africa is home. Africa is heritage. Africa is opportunity. Africa is connected to me, and I to it. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you. I now hand over to our moderator, Abatesi Peace, as we welcome our panelists into this important conversation. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Vicky, for that powerful and visionary foundation. Thank you so much. Before we move into our panelist introductions, we would like to briefly spotlight one of the important partners and voices connected with the broader work of cultural connection, diaspora engagement, and community empowerment. At the Africa Guide, we believe that the future of African tourism is not only about destinations, it is also about people, it's about partnerships, it's about heritage, it's about community, storytelling, and the bridges we build across the global African family. We will now share a short video from the Words Matter Africa Caribbean Conversations. Thank you.
Ready to be part of something truly transformative? Welcome to WOMAC. Words Matter Africa Caribbean Conversations. The streaming platform that connects, heals, and celebrates Africa-Caribbean relationships, unlocking new opportunities for investment. Picture this: a dynamic media organization built on values, designed as the communication bridge between African and Caribbean communities. WOMAC isn't just a media platform, it's a hub where voices are heard, relationships are built, and new possibilities emerge every day. Imagine a soulful mix of Caribbean and African gospel, adult contemporary music that pulsates with joy, and a spectrum of programming blending faith, tourism, business, youth, and adult engagement. WOMAC's content is informative, uplifting, and always engaging, designed to keep audiences coming back for more. At the helm is Dr. Madonna Doyle, a veritable communications architect with over 4 decades of experience in mass media, community radio, and corporate leadership communications. Under her visionary leadership, WOMAC is rapidly becoming the powerful link connecting Africa and the Caribbean. But the opportunity doesn't end there. WOMAC offers a unique on-demand subscription model, giving audiences access to exclusive packaged content whenever they want. For advertisers and investors, this means lifetime advertising placements, syndication opportunities, and access to passionate, engaged audiences. Now is your moment to invest in a media entity that serves both audiences and advertisers. One poised for remarkable growth. WOMAC is more than a platform. It's the voice that connects and celebrates Africa-Caribbean communities, wherever they are. Are you ready to join this movement? Become a part of WOMAC and help shape the future of Africa-Caribbean relationships. Invest in the seed, own the harvest. Build a legacy that lasts for generations.
Thank you so much. We are so pleased. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. We are so pleased to invite the founder of World's Matter Africa Caribbean Connections, Dr. Madonna Doyle, to briefly share with us a few words. Dr. Madonna, we would be honored to hear from you about 2 minutes. Thank you.
Thank you. It is morning in Trinidad and Tobago. Thank you, moderator, and thank you for collaborator and friend, Dr. Vicky. I am especially honored that she invited me to share. She's part of Words Matter, Africa Caribbean Conversations. And indeed, I want to just share that we are experiencing and living in what I call the Kairos moment. And the Kairos moment, it's captured in scripture and manifested in the confluence of a number of forces. There are geopolitical forces that are happening right now. If you're observing what is happening in Western civilization, there's a decline, a historical decline that is anticipated in Western civilization, and the shift towards the East, Africa. Spiritually, the scriptures identify, whether it is in Isaiah, whether it is in Malachi, Jeremiah, that there is a reaching out of Ethiopia across the nations. So there is a spiritual call back to home country, Africa. Economically, again, we are seeing the decline of Western influence. There are forces at work to diminish the use of the US dollar as the world settlement currency and more towards home-based settlements. There is the formation of the BRICS movement, so that if you are able to discern the times, you are seeing the cultural shift, even the cultural shift where the ascendancy of African rhythms and music, fashion, so that we are living in exciting times. We are living in a season where we are experiencing and perhaps celebrating the return to home. The traders, the people who trafficked in African flesh 400 years or more ago, are recognizing how that has debilitated and diminished humankind. And the whole movement to reparation is not just economic, but a recognition that we need to heal. They need to heal themselves. The planet needs to heal. And we need now to recognize the damage done by that slave trade and heal the relationship between Africa and its diasporas. Words Matter, Africa Caribbean Conversations was given to me not as a fait accompli, but 17 years ago, God gave me a vision. I have no apologies to make to being a spiritually guided person. This vision was I would say in nascent forms, where I saw like arcs, black arcs. I thought they were black birds, but black arcs moving to and fro Western Africa. And because my professional background has been in media, God began to elaborate and expand upon that vision to the point where we now, last year, God confirmed, perhaps the year before, that he wants me to build a communication bridge. And because now the technology permits, and this is Dr. Vicky, I'm so honored to be here, the communication allows for digital bridges. I am so thrilled. So we are building a digital communication bridge between Africa and the African diaspora and the Caribbean diaspora. So last year, we incorporated this company called Words Matter, Africa Caribbean Conversations. So we are already registered as a legal entity, both in Trinidad and Tobago and in the US. We have been testing the radio arm of it, and there are more arms to be rolled out. So the official launch of the radio arm will take place next Sunday in Trinidad and Tobago, and I will send Dr. Vicky the link for the online audiences. We are thrilled. We are thrilled to have many more persons. One of the things is the ongoing, because of radio, the ongoing communication. And one more thing before I wrap up, God gave us the mission to that is influenced by Luke 2:10, in which the angel Gabriel gave us a template for news. The angel Gabriel says, "Behold, I bring you good tidings of great joy for all people." If you recognize, those of you who have been in traditional media, the traditional media template, it's the opposite of that. So we want to reclaim that. So instead of the traditional journalistic template, which says, if it bleeds, it leads, heaven says, "I bring you good tidings, which shall generate joy for all people." And this is the underlying ethos of Words Matter Africa Caribbean Conversations. Good news that will generate joy for all people. I will pause there and ask and turn over to our moderator, and I guess she will take it from there. I've put all the contact information in the chat. You're muted, Dr. Vicky.
Thank you so much, Dr. Madonna, for sharing with us and for the important work you continue to do. We will now move into the main panel discussion by introducing the voices who will keep us explore today's topic in greater depth. We want to welcome Mr. Joko Julius, who brings an important academic and educational perspective to the panel as a lecturer in tourism and hospitality at the School of Business, Uganda Christian University. He represents the critical role of tourism education in preparing the next generation of professionals. His teaching philosophy, which focuses on helping students rise above him professionally and career-wise, makes him especially relevant to today's discussion on youth development, tourism careers, and capacity building. You are most welcome, sir. We also want to welcome Charles Nkaivu, who brings the perspective of a passionate tourism and hospitality enthusiast with a strong interest in destination marketing, tourism storytelling, and youth involvement. His work and interests align closely with the need to encourage Gen Z to engage in tourism not only as travelers, but also as active stakeholders, digital influencers, as service providers, and as innovators. You are most welcome, Mr. Charles Nkayuv. Lastly, but surely not least, Miss Mwangzi Joan Magumba. She brings the perspective of hands-on tourism entrepreneurship and practical industry engagement. As CEO of Saya Travel Safaris, she represents the travel businesses, the tour promotion, the sustainable tourism, and the strategic use of digital engagement and advanced tourism visibility and collaboration across Africa. We are happy to have you, Miss Joan Magumba. Together, they bring a powerful combination of academic insight, of creative storytelling, youth focus, and real-world entrepreneurial experience. And of course, I want to face your moderator for today. If you just joined, once again, my role is to guide our discussion in a way that makes these topics accessible, engaging, and relevant to young professionals, to students, to tourism stakeholders, and to digital innovators. Thank you all for joining us today. We look forward to learning from your diverse and valuable perspective. We will now move into the heart of our discussion. To keep the conversation flowing and give everyone a chance to contribute, please aim for about 2 minutes per response. And of course, I will gently guide the timing. Thank you. This is an opening question for all panelists. The question is, what inspired your interest in tourism, hospitality, destination marketing, or digital innovation, and why do you believe that this conversation matters for Africa's tourism future? Thank you so much. Beginning with Mr. Juko Julius. Mr. Juko Julius, the floor is yours.
Okay. Good afternoon, good morning to the audience. I want to say thank you, Peace, for the good introduction. That was humbling. I also want to thank the CEO, Dr. Vicky, for this great initiative, the Africa Guide. My name is Julius Juko, and I'm stationed in Kampala, Uganda right now. By the grace of God, I am a tourism management educator, certified, working with two very reputable universities in Uganda, that is Makerere University Business School and Uganda Christian University. Now, going to the question, what inspired me to join tourism management? Certainly, like the CEO, Dr. Vicky, broad eyes, tourism is an inviting industry, and anybody who really has the passion to grow, and particularly back here at home in Africa, you will find tourism very appealing. On part, I am a professional tourism and hospitality manager by training at various levels. So intrinsically, I was fashioned, or I was built to appreciate tourism management particularly. Now, you cannot appreciate tourism management without the aspect of marketing or promoting tourism so that it is appreciated by more than you. I take particular interest in it as an educator because my role is to, as an educator, is to build a commendable and competent workforce for the tourism industry, starting with here in Uganda, but also for the international tourism arena. Our products here in Uganda are built to serve the global stage. They are equipped with knowledge and skills to perform competently to answer the global tourism call, demanding quality professional service. So that is what inspired me. Thank you, Peace.
Thank you so much, Mr. Juko, for that insightful. Let me call the next panelist, Mr. Charles Sinkaiv. The floor is yours. Thank you.
Thank you for the opportunity, Ms. Abatesi, please. First of all, my interest was not tourism, not more than 2 years ago. I was taught by my parents to do tourism, But then what inspired my interest came later. I realized that Africa has some of the world's most incredible destinations, cultures, and experiences. Yet many of our stories remain untold, or they are told by others. As I studied tourism and hospitality, I became increasingly interested in destination marketing and storytelling because I saw how powerful they are in shaping perception and inspiring travel. Thank you very much, Ms. Awatis.
Thank you, Mr. Charles. That was very insightful. Let us now hear from our next panelist, Miss Joanne Wangzi. The floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Ms. Abatese. Good afternoon and good morning to everyone on this panel. Personally, as a tour operator and CEO Sailor Travel Safaris, my interest in tourism comes from my passion for showcasing Africans' beauty, culture, and unique stories to the world. Through some of my work, I have seen that tourism creates opportunities for communities, supports livelihoods, and also changes perceptions about Africa. And personally, I am particularly interested in digital innovation because it is transforming how people discover and experience destination. This conversation matters to me because Africa has incredible tourism potential, and digital tools give us the opportunity to tell our own stories, reach global audiences, and connect more deeply with the diaspora. Even as we embrace innovation, we should do it while remaining authentic so we can shape a stronger and more sustainable future for African tourism. I believe Africa has very many stories waiting to be explored. So digital innovation is just giving us the platform to share them with the world. Thank you very much.
Thank you all for those heartfelt and insightful opening reflections. It's wonderful to hear the personal passion each of you brings to this field. Building on that foundation of passion, let us start with the crucial role of education in preparing the next generation. Mr. Juko, I would like to turn to you first. My first question is, from an education perspective, how should tourism and hospitality programs prepare students for a future shaped by digital tools, AR, VR, and immersive experiences? Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Peace. Now, from the perspective of education, first of all, we need to appreciate what digitization is, and basically that is the transformation or the conversion of analog information to coded and computer read formats that enable easy processing and conveying of information. Now, what that enables tourism education, first and foremost, is connectivity. Because what is behind digital tourism is enablement of tourism by information technology advancements. So, in the education sector, digitization enables or facilitates a broader range of learning, let me call them learning platforms, enabling students in different parts of the world to easily access tourism information and knowledge from all around the globe. And that kind of builds their capacity and knowledgeability to enable them develop into world-class tourism managers or tourism players. I submit.
Thank you, Mr. Duke. These insights are especially valuable for our educators and students in the audience. I hope you are taking notes. My second question is, what key skills do you believe the next generation of tourism professionals must develop to remain relevant in this rapidly evolving digital landscape?
Does that also come to me?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Of course, the first one is to ensure that they cope with the global trends. And the hottest at the moment is the Internet of Things driven by AI, artificial intelligence. The contemporary tourism management student has got to ensure that they cope with the advancements in artificial intelligence. We are talking about the various digital platforms that artificial intelligence powers. For example, the social media platforms, which we now know are overtaking conventional marketing platforms like television and others. So students should look out for, tourism students particularly, should look out to equip themselves with knowledge to cope with the rapid technology, information technology advancements on the globe, starting with AI. Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you, Mr. Juko. Let's now shift from education to how these digital tools are applied in real-world storytelling and marketing. Let me transition to Charles Nkaiv. Charles, your expertise in destinational marketing and storytelling makes you the perfect person to take us into this next area. So my question to you is, how can digital platforms help African countries tell more authentic and positive stories about their destinations? Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ms. Abatesi. Digital platforms have given destinations like Africa, of course, the opportunity to tell their own stories directly to the world instead of relying on only foreign narratives. I would say, like, for example, we have TikTok right now, we have Instagram, we have YouTube, we have podcasts and blogs. African creators, tourism boards, and local communities can showcase authentic experience, culture, landscapes, food, wildlife, and people in a more relatable way and a human way. In my perspective, I believe that storytelling is one of the strongest tools right now in destination marketing because it gives travelers an opportunity to connect more with experiences and emotions than traditional advertisement. Um, um, an example of a video found on TikTok showing how Owino market in Kampala is operated, or a cultural dance in Uganda right now, or a safari experience by a tour company, for example, Safari Tour Travel Sailor. It can showcase its experiences live on TikTok, which can inspire the global audiences and change their perceptions about us Africans. With the interest of time, I'll end by telling you that digital platforms also allow young creators and local communities to actively participate in promoting destinations, making tourism marketing more authentic, diverse, and engaging. I'll end by telling you that African stories should be told by Africans because it's more authentic and more real and more creative. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Nkaiv. Following on from that, what role do you see Gen Z playing in promoting African tourism through content creation, digital influence, and innovation?
Very interesting piece. I saw that role in me. That's why I chose promoting African tourism as my niche. As a Gen Z, I believe I have a very important role in shaping the future of African tourism because I am naturally connected to digital platforms and modern storytelling. And also, you, the Gen Z who's watching me right now, you are naturally connected to these digital platforms because we've grown up with them, we've grown up with phones. Unlike the previous generations, of course, we communicate through short videos, visual content, and live experiences. Social media engagement also helps us. This makes us very powerful tourism ambassadors because with just a mere phone, I have the ability to reach the global audience. Young people today are already influencing tourism because they influence the decisions of the travelers through their TikTok videos or YouTube travel content, blogging, and digital campaigns. We have something called impulse demand. You watch something and immediately you are like, I want to try that. After me watching a TikTok video of, let me say, I'll give an example out of Africa. Uh, I would watch Burj Khalifa, the building in Dubai. Since we don't have them here, it builds my curiosity. I want to go and see it physically. So, us Africans should wake up and use these platforms to market our destinations. I also believe that Gen Z, this is very important, Gen Zs, beyond content creation, they can do other things. We have a Gen Z on the platform right now. She owns a tour company. That's entrepreneurship. We focus on tourism technology. We can build apps to improve the service quality. We can brand our destinations from poor names to very good names. We can also innovate travel experiences through use of AI. Looking ahead, other than now, tomorrow, which may not be tomorrow or any other tomorrow, I believe artificial intelligence will help us young people to create smarter and more engaging tourism content, personalized travel experiences, virtual destination previews, and interactive storytelling that makes African destinations more visible globally. If supported properly, I believe that Gen Zs can help African tourism become more innovative, digitally competitive, and globally connected. And it goes back to my first view that we are naturally connected to the devices we have right now. That's why we are very important in the tomorrow journey of tourism. Thank you.
Wow, that was really, really nice. Thank you so much, Nkaiv. This takes me to the last question. How can AR, VR, and immersive tools help young people and the global diaspora connect more deeply with African destinations before they physically travel? Thank you.
Thank you very much. Once again, Ms. Abates. AR, to those of us who are here and don't know it, it's augmented reality. You have it with your phone, it's on your phone. And VR is virtual reality. I believe most Gen Zs are familiar with that. To those of us who don't know, you can be given digital goggles to give you a vision of where you are not. They practically immerse you in a destination before you even go there. These technologies can make African tourism more accessible and emotionally engaging, even before I visit a destination. For a young person like me and the African diaspora, our CEO, she's in the diaspora, of course, immersive experiences such as virtual safaris, 360-degree culture tours, virtual museums, and interactive storytelling can create curiosity. Imagine you watching something, but you are not there. You'll be curious, you want to go and feel it. In tourism, you can't complete tourism without testing and feeling physically. You are there emotionally, but you are not there physically. You have not tested. Um, um, I'll continue by saying that these technologies can also help travelers preview destinations, understand cultures, and build more confidence before booking trips. You will know that it's real, it's there. So it builds your confidence. If you use a VR experience to trek a gorilla, you become confident. You say that what I saw in the VR is automatically there at wind impenetrable. It gives you that confidence that they are not lying to you. Something is practically there at the destination. Also, in my view, these technologies can also help travelers preview destinations and understand cultures and build confidence. I've talked about that. For example, um, if someone in diaspora uh, wants to visit a destination like the Uganda Museum, you just go to your Google, use the augmented reality, see what's there before you even come. I believe that immersive technology is not meant to replace the physical travel, but it's here to help us narrate stories to the diaspora before they are here, to make them want to come to experience that in reality. Thank you very much, artists.
Thank you so much, Charles. Your points on youth power and immersive connection really open up exciting possibilities. Dr. Vicky, I know this connects deeply with the Africa Guide's mission of bridging Africa and the diaspora. Would you like to briefly share how this ties into the platform's vision for meaningful diaspora and engagement?
Sure. Thank you so much for that. So thanks to the other panelists so far who have spoken. I think jumping off of what Charles would have spoken, it is important for us as a company or as a movement, I want to say a movement, to be able to engage the younger generation. I think the way that they seek experiences in tourism, the way that they view the world now is a little bit different, or, you know, those coming a little bit after me view the world a little different. So what it is important for us as a company to not only do these types of discussions, but be able to engage them through research to understand how do we, as we work together with various stakeholders in the Africa continent, how do we work together to ensure that we are providing an end product through digital means to be able to attract them and push them towards the continent. In the end, it's not only tourism, it's not only pushing them towards tourism, but an understanding of identity. So it begins with the digital world. It begins with all the platforms and possibilities out there, but it really is for us to connect from a level of identity, as well as, of course, building the tourism product, increasing those tourism visitors and so on. So thank you so much for that. I wanna, before I move on, I want to acknowledge Dr. Carrie Hall, who is on the line. She is a tourism development specialist from Barbados, former CEO of Barbados Tourism Product Authority, and also former Director of Tourism Development with the Ministry of Tourism and International Transport. So I know she may not be here for long, but I just wanted to acknowledge her. And of course, right before she leaves, maybe we want to hear from her a minute or two. Just put your hand up before you're ready to go so we can have your perspective, having such depth of knowledge in the tourism field and working at those levels as well. So Abatesi, you can move right on. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Vicky. Let me now transition to Mwang's Joan Magumba. Joan, let's bring the conversation into the practical world of tourism entrepreneurship. As someone running silent travel safaris, you see these opportunities on the ground every day. So my question is, what practical opportunities do you see for using digital innovation to promote tours, travel experiences, and African destinations? Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ms. Peace, for that insightful question. Personally, I believe digital innovation has created one of the biggest opportunities African tourism has ever had. And this is the ability to tell our own stories directly to the world. As we are aware, we are living in a digital-driven era. And today, a traveler in Canada, Germany, South Africa can easily discover Uganda through a TikTok video, an Instagram reel, a virtual tour, or even a simple message on WhatsApp. And that, to me, changes everything. Why? Because today, surveys suggest that 85% of African tourism businesses are now using AI or are trying and plan to adapt to it. So as tourism entrepreneurs, how can we use these opportunities? Some of the opportunities we can utilize, we have social media, where we can use social media to tell stories and to showcase authentic African experiences. You imagine a scenario where you use TikTok to sell Queen Elizabeth and climbing lions that it has. That pushes someone to start thinking about traveling to Queen Elizabeth, to want to experience the climbing lions. And then we have AI and data analytics. And this can help us to understand traveler interests, but also improve customer experiences. Right now, most of the tourism travel bookings are done online, where we have platforms like booking.com that travelers and tourists use to book hotels, to book resorts as they plan on going for travels. We can easily use such platforms to understand what kind of ambiances do these tourists prefer, what drives them to select a certain area to visit or to stay in. And then my other point can be VR and AR experiences, which are virtual reality and augmented reality experiences. And as Mr. Charles had explained earlier, these experiences bring a desire, they bring excitement into a tourist, in that they are pushed to go and visit Lake Nakuru if they find a video on the flamingos on the waters. They would be anxious to know, how do these flamingos feed? What makes their color pink? So such experiences are the ones that will help us use AI innovations to improve on tourism experiences. And for me as an individual, I believe the future of tourism is not just about selling destinations, it's about creating emotional connections through digital experiences that inspire people to visit Africa physically. And as I conclude, I would like to say that in Africa, we have a lot of beauty, we have a lot of culture, we have a lot of stories that need to be spread out there. So digital innovation is just laying the platform to us. It's giving us a louder voice and a global stage. So it's up to us to utilize it and make the best out of it. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Miss Joanne. Following up on your response, how can travel companies and entrepreneurs use these digital tools to build trust with both local and international audiences?
Thank you very much. I am well aware that on the platform we have tourism operators, we have educators, we have students, and I believe we are aware that tourism, this is a kind of industry where most of its services are intangible, hence making trust a very important aspect. Because to me, I believe trust is everything, because people are investing in these experiences and memories. So why would someone plan a trip with Sailor and come to end up getting a disappointment? So digital tools can help us build that trust through transparency, consistency, and engagement. For example, we can use professional websites and verified social media pages to create credibility. For example, LinkedIn. LinkedIn is a space where you can advertise your company, you can advertise your business, and people will be able to trust you because it's a credible platform. So such platforms can easily help us to bridge that gap between the tourist and the service provider. Another thing is customer reviews and testimonials. These help travelers feel confident, because imagine you have the urge to travel to, I would say Egypt, but you're not sure of the environment there, you're not sure of the status, like are there was something in that category. So when you go to a website and you find a testimonial, you find a review, you find a rating on that particular area probably you want to visit, that will push you to want to visit that area and to want to actually use that very tour company or tour operator to help you enjoy that experience. And another thing I would say is using high quality photos and videos for authenticity. It's one thing to get a video or to get an image from Google and Pinterest and put it on your website, and it's another to actually use pictures from your tourists, pictures from your travelers, to put them on a website. That creates transparency between you and your audience, hence creating loyalty. And I also believe authenticity matters because people no longer buy packages. They are buying stories, emotions, and meaningful experiences. So tourism brands should communicate honestly and consistently in order to stand out. And as I finish, I would like to tell us that yes, technology may help us attract travelers from all over the world, from the diaspora, but trust is what turns those interests into actual journeys. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Miss Joanne. These grounded insights are incredibly valuable. Now, we have had excellent perspectives from each of you individually. Let's now open to the floor to the full panel for some broader reflections. My question is, how can AR, VR, and immersive technologies now build a gap between Africa and the global diaspora? Please kindly keep your responses within 1 to 2 minutes to give everyone an opportunity to speak. And if you would like to speak or add a comment, please raise up your hand and you'll be given the floor. Thank you.
I believe that question was for the panelists. That was the final question for the panelists.
The question is for the full panel.
Can you repeat it so everyone can hear?
The question is, how can AR, VR, and massive technologies help bridge the gap between Africa and global diaspora?
Thank you very much for the opportunity once again. In my perspective, I believe AR and VR and other immersive technologies have the potential to bridge not only geographical distances, but also emotional and cultural distances between Africa and its global diaspora. Many people in the diaspora have very strong roots in Africa because, of course, it's where they came from. They are our brothers, they are our sisters. We are naturally connected with them, but may not always have the opportunity to visit us regularly. But through virtual experience, they can explore destinations, cultural sites, museums, and festivals cheaper from anywhere in the world. No time wasted, less money incurred, but you are in Africa in your roots, with your roots. For example, someone living in Toronto could take a virtual tour to Uganda's national parks and experience the climbing lions, the trek the gorillas, can also view the historical and heritage sites before even planning to physically visit. Thank you very much, Ms. Abates.
I saw someone raise the hand.
You can go ahead. All questions will come after. So
Right.
we can move on to the next panelist.
Okay, may I proceed? May I proceed?
question.
Sorry. I'm raising my
We'll have Ms. Jones speak first before we move into the question and answers. So Mr. McKinnett Solomon, you can just give us, just allow the next panelist to complete her response.
Okay.
Thank you very much. So my view on how we can use AR, VR, and immersive technologies to help build the gap between Africa and the global diaspora is through using immersive storytelling, and yes, on the digital platforms, because this can help Africans in the diaspora feel personally connected to destinations across the continent. Like the former panelist, Mr. Charles mentioned, when I am in Toronto and I'm feeling the urge to visit home, I'm feeling the urge to visit maybe a tourist attraction, using maybe virtual reality, I can easily get that experience without necessarily having to move from my home to Uganda. And I believe that these technologies are not replacing travel, they are just inspiring it. Because later, after that person viewing that tour, the virtual tour, they can be easily moved to start planning for an actual physical visit to Uganda. So the technologies just help create anticipation, curiosity, and emotional connection. But most importantly, they allow Africa to tell its own story in a more modern and engaging way. So as I close, I would say that technology cannot replace the feeling of being in Africa or the feeling of being home, but it can spark that desire in someone to explore and reconnect with their motherland. Thank you.
Thank you so much to all our panelists for those thoughtful and practical contributions. You have given us a lot to reflect on as we think about the future of African tourism, digital innovation, and diaspora engagement. Before we move to our audience question and answer, I would like to invite our host and founder, Dr. Vicky, back into the conversation. Dr. Vicky will briefly introduce another one of the Africa Guide's trusted innovation partners and then remain with us as we move into the question and answer segment. Dr. Vicky, over to you.
Thank you, Abatesi, and thank you again to our panelists for such an insightful discussion. As we've heard today, the digital future of Africa tourism is not only about imagination, it's all about collaboration as well. So at this time, I'm going to briefly invite our trusted innovation partner, Hyper Reality Company, to share a short perspective. Together, the Africa Guide and Hyper Reality brings expertise in immersive technology, AR, VR, and future-facing digital experiences. So I now invite Mr. Diego Murillo of Hyper Reality Company to share briefly with us for about 2 minutes. Thank you. We are not hearing you. Not sure if anybody else is, but I am not. Nothing. It's unmuted, but we're not hearing anything. Nothing. Maybe without the headphones, it would work, just in case. Nothing is yet.
Hello, 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 hello.
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, do you hear me right now?
We can hear you.
Okay, sure. So thank you for having me, Vicky. It's great to be here. I don't know if you can see right now my screen. Oh, okay.
Yes, we can see.
Yes. So thank you for having me. I'm one of the directors at Hyperreality Company. My name is Diego Salazar Modelo. We're located in America. Basically, what we do is we specialize in augmented reality, virtual reality, and 3D visualizations. We help companies and organizations create engaging and immersive digital experiences like the ones you see here. We do from fake out homes, virtual reality, 3D scans, tours, and AI integrations. We're excited to be collaborating with Vicky and the Africa Guide as we explore how emerging technologies can support tourism, storytelling, and global engagement. We believe that this kind of technology can showcase the different cultures, heritage, and attractions in a completely new way. And we're looking forward to be sharing ideas from other panelists and sharing how innovation can help the future of tourism across Africa and beyond. So I'm sharing my presentation through the chat. So if you have any questions, we can communicate with Vicky. And I'm glad to be here.
Thank you so much for that, Mr. Diego. It's such a pleasure. We will now move on to our question and answer, but I want to open the floor to Dr. Carrie Hall to speak for just about 2 minutes. Whatever you're led to share, we know your expertise is beyond a lot that we know. So as someone from Barbados or from the Caribbean, we want to hear from you.
Good morning. It was morning in Barbados. It's 20 minutes past 10 a.m. And I wish everyone from wherever in the world you are a pleasant day. Dr. Vicky, you gave me 2 minutes. Anybody that knows me knows that that will be a very, very, very tall order for me. I'll try my best to condense what I have to say here today.
That's okay.
And I first want to commend you highly. I'm a very passionate person. I'm passionate about tourism. I'm passionate about my region. I'm passionate about people. And it's very heartening when you see someone just as passionate as you are, because passion is infectious. And when you were speaking, I had goose pimples because you were saying so many things that I truly believe myself and have pontificated upon to anybody who cares to listen for years. And I just want to first clearly state that I'm a proud member of the African diaspora. I'm a daughter of Africa. I've always identified with this magnanimous nation. And I am living proof, and I'm the manifestation that we survived. We survived one of the most heinous crimes committed by mankind against mankind. And we are back now to hold hands with the Global South and to take this amazing continent to the next level. Now, I deem Africa to be pretty much the foremost continent on earth. It's a cradle of civilization. And I do believe when I look at the landscape, the global landscape of tourism and where Africa stands, a little bit behind the 8 ball, because when you look at other regions around the world, the Caribbean, for one, in Barbados, there were hotels here from the 1700s. When you look at Europe, the Far East, the Middle East, the Americas, Africa is running a little bit behind pace. But the good thing about that is there's some benefits to that. You could learn from the mistakes of others. Africa is a new and mysterious destination. Everybody likes new and shiny. And Africa is this mysterious continent that I agree with you. And it resonated with me when you said other people have told the African story for far too long. I mean, in many cases, that story has not been a flattering one. And it has done a very commendable job of driving a wedge between Africa and its diaspora and the rest of the world. And I believe Africa is rising, and this is Africa's time to take its rightful place in the pantheon of global tourism. I do agree that Africa has a fascinating story. In the Caribbean, what happened to us, because we based our tourism story on sand, sea, and sun for obvious reasons, people tend to think that we're one homogeneous product, where each island is the same. You've seen one, you've seen them all. But that is not necessarily the case. Each island has its rich culture, history, food, its own story. The people are different languages, etc. So I'm urging Africa not to fall into that trap, to use all of the wonderful digital tools to tell your story, but to differentiate each amazing country from the other, to be able to showcase to the world that each country has an amazing, unique perspective and unique experience. And I do believe that Africa will be able to offer the world something that the world is looking for. I know traditionally, when we think of Africa, we think of safari tourism. I know there are a few countries that have been in the tourism game, like South Africa is a foremost a global player. And then you have probably like Kenya. Ghana is now starting to really pick up in terms of the return a couple of years ago. And a few others are starting to get in the game, Namibia and others. But I do believe that Africa has the most amazing experience. You have a young population. The Middle East and Africa have the youngest populations in the world for the foreseeable future. The more developed countries, even Barbados has an aging population. This is what I'm trying to say. The planets are aligning. You have a young population. The world is moving into the digital space. You're seeking jobs, opportunities, you know what I mean? Improving the livelihoods and the way of life of your people. This is the perfect opportunity for Africa to rise, to use the digital tools to tell its story, to engage its youth in a way that they're excited and they feel inspired to be involved in this industry. They're proud. I heard the word a lot in there in terms of promoting Africa with dignity and authenticity, of taking back ownership of your story, which the world does not know, but I think is hungry to learn more of, as I know I was. When I went to Ghana a few years ago, as a daughter of Africa, a product of Africa, I felt that when I placed my foot terra firma on the soil of Ghana, I felt that a missing link, that missing link was finally filled in, and I truly understood my reason for existence and my purpose and where I came from. And I know that the diaspora, which are millions around the world, when I came back to Barbados, I told a lot of people that story, and it inspired quite a few people to then go to Ghana because they wanted to feel what I felt, because we're all walking around with that missing link, and the missing link is back home in Mother Africa. And another thing about this digital tools, and I could talk all day on this, but I'm going to kind of segue in and do a wrap up because others have to speak. We also, when we develop a tourism industry, if there's one thing that we want to ensure, and a lot of more mature tourism destinations or regions, just like mine, we have kind of not sealed the deal, or we made some errors in our past. We want to make sure we develop an inclusive tourism industry, not an industry that only the others or the 5th percentile are able to extract the major benefits from tourism. Because tourism is not necessarily about the tourists, it's about bringing benefits to a nation and a people. And we want to create that inclusive industry, that is sustainable, inclusive industry where we're able to create a situation where there's a fair and equitable distribution of the tourism dollar, where we provide stable and long-term employment and business opportunities for our people, where there's poverty alleviation, where we use tourism as a vehicle to lift our people out of situations that are unfortunate, for the women, for the youth, for the marginalized, for the vulnerable. Tourism, if done properly, can be a vehicle to ensure that a broader cross-section of society is able to get their fair share of the visitor economy. So when we do, and this is what these digital tools will do, from the mobile payments and ecosystems to the, the OTAs who are able to tell the story of Africa, to the more immersive technology, it puts the power in your hand to tell your story, to ensure that tourism dollar is infused into the local economy where it belongs, to ensure that tourism is a vehicle for social and economic development and growth, genuine social and economic development. And we need to reduce that leakage. In the Caribbean, maybe we didn't have the capital initially to do what we had to do. We had the product, we had the beautiful beaches, everything they require, but we didn't have the money probably for the airplanes, the boats, the hotel chains, and that was the partnership. But what happens is that you find that even though tourism is $1 billion industry, a lot of that money, it never reaches our shores or is repatriated back, and we're left pretty much with the crumbs. I mean, tourism does bring benefits, I agree, but we do not get the lion's share of those benefits. So I'm saying, Africa, please use these tools to involve your people, to own your story, to as much as you can, to own the experience, the product, to ensure that those tourism dollars are used to uplift the African nation and to tell your story the way you want your story told, not the way others have told it for decades. So I loved a lot of what I heard here today. I'm very excited. I believe in the African product, and I believe the African product will lead tourism in the coming years. I saw a clip. The tourism ministers everybody seems to be dealing with this issue because this issue is real. And a lot of the ministers of tourism were talking about working together and uplifting each other. Like if there's a big event in Uganda, the other countries would help promote it. And I thought that was beautiful because each country has not necessarily to compete with each other, but to complement. And once you get it right, Africa, look at the global playbook, see what is being done right, what are the models that could be replicated, and adopt those models and see where certain things didn't go so well and know to avoid those certain things. So, as I said, I'm sure there's much more that I could say, but I'm going to pull up here. But I just want to say, Africa, total potential. I've been around tourism for a long time, and I think Africa is the most exciting proposition on the market right now. And you just had, I Show Speed came there the other day. I mean, this is not your grandmother's tourism. Even me was a little bit, I'm a fossil. I have to realize I have to get on the ball with generation now, generation next, and understand that the old ways of doing things no longer hold fast as we try to attract a new generation of traveler. We need to speak their language, and their language is the phone, the digital tools, and the I Show Speed taught me a lot, and because he came to the Caribbean as well. And I just want to wish Africa the best, and I know Africa is going to do it. And Africa, engage your young people, train them, develop them to take these digital tools to take you to the next level, the ultimate level, where I know Africa will be and where Africa belongs. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you for that. So much passion. I really love everything that was said. She said total potential. Own the experience, own the product, engage the youth. don't fall into the same trap as us here in the Caribbean and around the world where everybody seems to be projecting the same image, the same sun, sea, sand, but there is more, the uniqueness of Africa. Promote the uniqueness, make sure that you find what that missing link is in Africa that the world needs, and build on that as we promote the nations, as we promote the continent. And of course, she said, reduce the leakage. So thank you so much.
Just one more thing.
Go ahead.
More thing quickly. The USPs. There are so many things in Africa that you could find in Africa and Africa alone. You know, the biggest, the oldest, the largest,
Yes.
especially your beautiful landscapes. Every country needs to find what are the unique selling points. Everybody has their bucket list. What are the things here in my country in Africa that we have here and only here that we could use as our point of differentiation that will draw people in, because people like to know that they're seeing something that you cannot see anywhere else in the world. And there's so many features like that in Africa. Africa, make a list of your USPs that will be as long as both my arms and my legs, I'm sure, and kind of build that into your story and your marketing strategies and lead with that, because that is authentic Africa. Nobody could take that from you, and that is where you'll find your competitive advantage. Thank you.
You're welcome. Definitely those unique selling propositions. Of course, that is exactly what the Africa Guide is here to do, to showcase to the world what we do not know, what is so great about Africa that the world has never discovered. Everybody has this, everybody has that, but Africa, we want Africa to be able to, as she said, the biggest, the oldest, the greatest, the most languages. We want to showcase it about Africa. So thank you so much, Dr. Carrie Hall. It has been a pleasure hearing from you. So I hand over right now back over to Abatesi. Of course, I extend apologies for Mr. Joko, who had to go based on a technological emergency. But of course, please put your questions in the chat, raise your hand. I think, Solomon, you were up first, so I hand over to Abatesi. There was a question coming in before him, but we can hand over and then I will share that specific question.
Thank you so much, Dr. Keriho. Thank you, Dr. Vicky. Thank you so much. The question I have is for all the panelists. Each panelist will give a short final thought. The question is, if you could make one key recommendation for African tourism boards to universities, to travel entrepreneurs, and platforms like the Africa Guide, what would you suggest they do now to better leverage digital innovation for tourism and diaspora engagement?
You can go ahead, Charles.
Thank you very much, Miss Abatesi, please. If you could make one recommend, it would be this. Intentionally invest in people, especially young people. Technology is important, but technology alone does not tell stories. Build connections and inspire travel. People do that. If we only use technology without us actively participating, it will not take us anywhere. So tourism boards, universities, entrepreneurs, and platforms should create more opportunities for young people to develop digital skills, experiment with emerging technologies, such as AI, AR, and actively participate in destination marketing and tourism innovation. If we empower young voices and embrace digital innovation, we shall not only strengthen tourism, but we will also create a generation that proudly shares Africa's story to the world. As I conclude, in my perspective, I believe that the future of African tourism is digital, it's story-driven, and it's youth-empowered. It's also globally connected. If we invest in the young people today, we invest in the future storytellers. We invest in the future innovators. We invest in the future ambassadors of Africa of tomorrow. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Ross. Let me welcome once to
Thank you very much, Miss Peace. My recommendation, would be that we should also, apart from investing in the Gen Zs and collaborating, storytelling is also one of the way that we can leverage digital innovation for tourism and diaspora engagement. Because Africa has incredible destinations, but our biggest asset or greatest asset is our story. My recommendation is that we use digital platforms to tell authentic African stories that inspire people to visit, invest, and connect with our continent. And additionally, we can also embrace digital innovation. As we embrace digital innovation, we should also ensure that tourism growth remains sustainable, that it benefits local communities, and that it preserves the culture and natural heritage that makes Africa a unique nation. If we combine innovation, collaboration, and authentic storytelling, I personally believe that Africa will not just be a destination of the future, but it will become the destination that the world looks to for inspiration. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much, Miss Joanne. I will now open the floor for audience questions. Please place your questions in the chat and we'll take as many as time allows us. Dr. Vic and I will guide this segment together. Some questions may be direct to specific panelists and some may be answered from the broader perspective of the African Guides mission in today's conversation. Thank you.
Thank you. I believe that's Solomon Biwota, if that's how you pronounce it. Sorry. You had your hand up before. If you have a question, you can go ahead. Of course, please put your question in the chat, but we had one question before, and I'm going to attempt that. I believe it would have been to the professor that was on the line, but of course he had to go. That question was, I am a tourism instructor. How can we use immersive technology in the teaching process? And of course, thank you for that. That's an excellent question, especially for tourism education. Immersive technology can definitely be used in the teaching process by allowing students to experience destinations, attractions. We talked about museums before, heritage sites, hotels, and so on, and the overall tourism product virtually before they even visit them. Mr. Joko, when he was on, he talked about easy accessible, a platform giving easy accessible tourism information for students all over the world. So in order for them to become world-class tourism managers, if we want world-class tourism managers, we have to use technology to help them become that, because of course they need to be more versed and be able to more speak confidently about the products that exists around the world. So for example, you have a tourism instructor, of course, can use VR 360-degree videos to take students into virtual field trips. When we even in different areas, if it is related to the area of agriculture, I think I heard Joan speak about that, showcasing something specific, unique in a way that they can't see or wouldn't be able to experience through a textbook or through a blog or through an article. So students then can analyze a visitor journey even better. Customer service touch points, accessibility, interpretation, storytelling, safety, and destination presentation. So they're able to analyze and present well as the managers of the future. Technology like this can also play a role in terms of simulation. So students can practice, of course, tour guiding, travel advising, destination marketing, working as a hotel staff, and so much more. So AR can also support the classroom by learning, by bringing the maps and brochures, cultural artifacts, and so on. A student can scan an image of a destination and see specific videos, narration. It is the responsibility of Africa and voices like yours, voices like the professors, voices like the instructors in different schools and in different universities, coming together with those who are developing those strategic plans and even the tour operators, attractions, and being able to produce a product using technology that would be beneficial not only to the diaspora, but to the students who will be serving the diaspora. So for tourism education, immersive technology can help students learn that destination knowledge, visitor experience design, cultural interpretation, and tourism marketing in a much more practical and memorable way that no textbook would not be able to help them do. Thank you so much again for that question on how tourism instructors can use immersive technology in the teaching process. Are there any more questions? Please feel free to go ahead. Madonna Doyle has a question, and that question is, how can you sensitize potential diaspora entrepreneurs and business people to traditional cultures and practices for doing business in different African countries? Any of you want to respond to that one? I can definitely respond, but I want you guys also to respond. Okay, the question is, how can you sensitize potential diaspora entrepreneurs and business people to traditional cultures and practices for doing business in the different African countries? I know, of course, we have the chambers of commerce within different countries, and of course, it is the responsibility of the Africa Guide to be able to present information to the diaspora, to our audience, on how to better do business. I know there's a lot of conversation on how we do business, how we can invest. What we find the Chinese do very well is to be able to teach you a little bit about their culture. So and those in Dubai as well, you would find specific materials on the internet on what are the expectations. You know, Chinese respect time. They will start definitely on time. Things that would offend them, the way that you present yourself before them. Some cultures, you know, certain things and certain negotiations may be more respected coming from a male figure. So it is very important. This is a very important question. And for me, one of the best ways to sensitize diaspora entrepreneurs and business people is through proper cultural orientation before they enter the market. So this is one of the things, of course, on our agenda. How do we help African countries, investment organizations, proper orient business persons culturally before they do business? Many diaspora entrepreneurs may, of course, always come with passion. They come with money. They come with good intentions. But if they do not understand the local customs, the communication styles, how persons make decisions, traditional leadership structures, and so on, how respect is shown in different contexts, then they may unintentionally create barriers. So we want to, of course, ensure that those barriers are bridged. Doing business in Ghana, for instance, may be different from doing business in Kenya, Rwanda, Zimbabwe. So each country needs its own cultural and business protocol guide. So these are things that we will work with persons to develop, but of course, these are things that we will say to persons. These are the things that the diaspora is reaching out for. I know that there are persons here from the press. We have Business Day Nigeria, we have TV3 Ghana, and also there is someone from Zimbabwe on the line. These are things that we want to be reported in the press about what the diaspora is looking for. Of course, there are local cultural experts, business leaders. We want to engage with them more so that entrepreneurs can experience the country even before they make a decision. Diaspora investors should not only hear from consultants outside the country, they need to hear from people in the country. So thank you so much for that question. I hope I have answered that. And of course, we are all in a work in progress, and we expect to be able to help the diaspora in being able to better do business. Anybody else wants to jump onto that question? Okay, we have a comment here. Would love to help getting entrepreneurs and marketing dollars engaged. We need to keep monetary resources in Africa, and we need respectful marketing engagement. Solomon says, I found many things from this Zoom discussion. How much you are working to the African Travel and Tourism Agents and okay, how much are you working with the African Travel Tourism Agents and Operators? How about your connection beyond Africa? Of course, we are working. One of our flagship projects is our app as well as our magazine. And we're creating a digital library for tour operators as well. So there is a free, and I want all the tour operators to jump on board. There's no cost added to it as yet. And that link will be shared via email. You can share all information about your tour operator. And we have a digital library that we will showcase that information as we go forward in placing that in the app as well. How much of work in African travel? How about your connection beyond Africa? When you say beyond Africa, are you saying beyond other continents? Of course, the Africa Guide is working with the diaspora. And remember, the diaspora is not only the Caribbean, but there is the US, you have Europe, you have Canada, Europe/UK. The diaspora is found in so much of those different destinations, and working with various partners in those destinations, the embassy, tourist organizations as well, to attract them through various technologies to the different countries, to the different possibilities and the opportunities. That's where the Africa Guide comes in. Abatesi, I hand over to you. So if there are no further questions, Abatesi, I hand over to you before we close.
Thank you so much, Dr. Vicky, for those powerful thoughts. I would like to sincerely thank our host and visionary, Dr. Vicky Otaraina, our insightful panelists, Dr. Joko Julius, Charles Nkaibu, and Mwangs Joan, and every one of you who joined us and made this conversation vibrant. This marks an important milestone for Africa Guide, our first official virtual panel as we expand into thought leadership and deeper diaspora connections. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you so much, everyone. You will receive a follow-up email with the recording with key takeaways and ways to stay engaged. Thank you again and have a wonderful rest of your day. This concludes our panel discussion. Thank you so much.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you so much for being here today. And of course, we've heard some powerful insights. Continue to connect to our partners, Dr. Madonna, Hyper Reality. Thank you for being part of this journey. Thank you to the panelists for being part of this journey. And of course, to everyone who has joined us, thank you for your presence, your questions, your comments, and your engagement. It is conversations like this that truly matter because they help us to move from idea to action, from visibility to strategy, and from inspiration to real impact. So stay connected. Of course, subscribe to the Africa Guide TV YouTube channel and continue engaging with us. Thank you once again for being here with us, and together we shape the future of Africa tourism through storytelling, innovation, and connection. Thank you once again, and have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.